Hello and welcome back to another video. Winter is almost in the rear view and I'm so excited. We have had, in my opinion, a horrific winter in Sydney. It has been so unexpected. It's also been just like torrential rain followed by like the false promise of like 4 days of sunshine and then like bucketing again. So I am definitely ready to say goodbye to winter and hello to spring. However, I'm going to show you guys a few pieces that got me through winter. Some of these are clothing items, accessories, bags, shoes, and others, and most importantly for me in winter this year, has been base layering pieces. I think I'm going to start with the base layers because this will make a little bit more sense with the rest of my clothing. So I've got two base layering kind of basics. The first one is thermal stockings, and these are very similar to your standard run-of-the-mill stockings, but they actually have a fleece lining inside. I've got no idea which pair these are, but I bought them in two different thicknesses, and one's for like 5 to 10 degrees and one's for -5 to like 0 degrees. So you can get them with different amounts of fleece, and they have been a great base layering and also a secret to like my mini skirts and stuff that I've managed to get through this winter in, because traditionally I would basically say goodbye to my skirts in winter because it's just too cold. The only side note I will add is this is, I think, one of two color options. Like you can either get it in this or black, and it's just not the most flattering look if you're doing long skirts. So if you're gonna do like a maxi, it does look a little bit weird. I typically have been doing like mini skirts with these and like a pair of knee-high boots because that's when it looks like the most balanced. The next layering item is thermal tops. So I think these come in a 3-pack on Amazon, and I've just been wearing these like under my work clothes pretty much all winter. I freeze as a general rule of thumb, so these have been really good to add kind of that extra layer of warmth, and you can always use it as like just a top on its own. Like you don't have to layer on top, but I would highly recommend. You can get them really cheap on Amazon. Next up, I'm gonna do bags just to get them out of the way. The first one is a life staple in general. This is my Louis Vuitton Neverfull. I will say in winter I used her a lot because when it did rain I would take an umbrella out, and she is pretty much the only bag that I have that actually fits an umbrella. So she was an absolute staple, and then I would always bring like a jumper out with me as well. This is a bit more of a night out situation, but the multi-pochette accessoire. Now, I did find with winter, I basically used the larger of the two pouches. I think I carried it out a few times, like as a whole set, like all 4 pieces here, but majority of the winter I kind of went with the back larger pouch because it fits my Canon G7X, and I can still like fit house keys and everything, but definitely a good staple all year round bag. Also, I've found myself like gravitating towards my Alma, but my Alma is canvas, which doesn't hold up in the rain. So I feel like with the weather this year and this season in particular, I was kind of left with my leather options, and my canvas and suede were kind of just like vetoed. Moving on to tops. Now the first one is from a recent Meshki haul, and this is the turtleneck gray top or jumper. I think it was actually sold as a jumper. Honestly, I don't know. She is very thin, but this and my thermal top have been a good combination because this does not have the most flattering neckline straight up. I put this on 90% of the time and question whether I'm wearing it the right way round. So I'll normally wear this and then I'll put a jumper on, but because the neckline is awkward, it's normally this one because it's got like a turtleneck kind of situation, and then I can always layer a coat on top of this, and then if I get too hot I take it off, and it's a pretty easy to kind of carry jumper because it's nice and thin. I'm pretty sure the other version of this is actually in the wash, but these two, this is a bodysuit from Hello Molly. This is the green. I also have it in grey. I think I've worn these two to death during winter because I I've kind of just lived in bodysuits and it's not really the weather for dresses. So I've definitely run these two into the ground. I did look at buying some other colors off Hello Molly. So just, yeah, I'll probably see more of those ones. From Oh Polly, this is another bodysuit. It is black, and I'm pretty sure I remember when I unboxed this, I was like, oh my god, it is so thick. With buying Oh Polly, it's really hard to tell because sometimes their clothes are really, really thick and sometimes they're really, really thin. This one, so thick, but it has been really, really good for winter because when I run out of the thermal tops, because I've only got 3 of those, I use this. The only negative I will say is it takes so much effort to get into. It is incredibly small. So the thing is, I think if it was thinner, it definitely wouldn't be a problem, but I don't think the size has been like adjusted to the thickness. Like this is a size 4, but I could probably go and get this in a size 6 and still maybe potentially struggle. It is an effort and a half to get a limb in there. Once you're in, you're good, but it's an effort to get into it and out of it. Now, when I was talking about the thermal stockings, I mentioned that there was a skirt that I have been living in, and that is this lioness black and white tweed moment. She's giving very like Balmain vibes. So I would do this with like thermal stockings, and I kind of mix it up with the top. I have like some bodysuits that are like spaghetti strapped, and I've got some like mock turtleneck tops, some white tops. So I definitely mixed up the top part based on the weather, but with the bottom part, because I was in thermal stockings, this was just like an all-weather kind of situation during winter. And next up, I'm going to show you what shoes I wore with this so much in winter. I do want to say that this wasn't just like a pair of shoes I wore specifically with that skirt. I wore these shoes so much over winter because they were just generally really, really comfortable, and I wore it a lot with like the dresses that I have. So these are the ones from Age that are sold as like middies but maxis on me because I'm vertically challenged. But these are the Jimmy Choo Carter 85 knee-high boots in black. I absolutely wore these to death. They're so comfortable, and with the midi dresses, I needed a little bit of height for some of them. There were like specific silhouettes that like had a little bit more fabric and a little bit more going on, so I wanted a little bit of height, and these shoes were perfect. If you have watched any of my shoe related videos, you will have probably heard this like 500,000 times, and I'm gonna say it again. Jimmy Choo make incredibly comfortable heels. I'm not gonna say shoes because heels as a generalization are not comfortable, but if you were to put Jimmy Choo next to the likes of Christian Louboutin, for example, or specifically my YSL Opium pumps, I will pick Jimmy Choo any day of the week. But these were definitely worth it, and I'm considering adding like white knee-high boots or like neutral knee-high boots to my wish list. Another pair of shoes that I lived winter in are my Uggs. So these are the ones that are platform. They're very chunky, and I honestly vibe them. These did start as like indoor shoes, and I still do try and keep them as indoor shoes, but I do find myself occasionally just wearing them out. Not in the rain. I'm gonna put these down. Not in the rain, but if it's like a decently dry day out and I just need to like nip down to the shops or something, I tend to like just put them on because they're the easiest thing. And they're actually really, really comfortable if you don't roll your ankle in them. I wish I had more outerwear, but I have quite honestly, hand on heart, lived in one coat all winter, and that is my new Petite Studios coat. I can't even get this in full view, but I will insert a photo. Basically, Petite Studios is an indie brand based out of New York, and the owner herself is Asian American, and she's I think 5'1" or 5'2". So the whole idea of the brand is it's all petite sizing, because random tangent, but one thing that I hate about brands when they have like a petite range is they take a standard like silhouette and they just shrink it, and they don't do it proportionally, so it ends up looking very confusing. Also, it's been good to be able to buy clothing and then not have to pay $100 to have it alterated. So this was one of the first pieces that I tried from Petite Studios, and I absolutely adore it. I feel like the pattern, or like basically the design is definitely a little bit different. It's a change from like my all black, my all nude, like my one color coats, and it is very warm. The only downside is it does shed a little bit, especially in the car, because I've got not leather seats, whatever it's made of, and sometimes the fur will like stick to the car seat and it looks like a dog's just shed in there. But other than that, she's definitely very warm, and she's got ginormous pockets, and I can fit like an umbrella just like vertically in there. So that is everything that kept me going for the most part in winter. I had an incredibly busy winter, so the chances to actually go out were definitely far and few in between. So I feel like this list is a little bit smaller, but nonetheless, they kept me going, and I am so looking forward to saying goodbye to winter. Now, if you have any questions, comments, or queries, feel free to leave them down below. If not, I will see you in the next one. Thank you so much for watching, and enjoy the rest of your day wherever you are. Bye!